Okay, perfect. Today's Saturday, April 17th, halfway through the month. Yay. Um, Time is flying. And I'm Taylor Wells, and we're on Best Team Ever Huddle. We have Scott and Sarah and Kim Easy here, and whoever else is listening in who listens to the recording. So we welcome you all. So today I wrote an agenda, but I'm always super, super open to not following an agenda, as you guys know. So I'm going to read what it says, and then we can go with what and Sarah will start with your first question because it was a great one. So I have law of attraction basics, how to apply law of attraction to your wine business. What is everyone doing day to day in their wine business? Approaching this question from your inner being, not your inner critic. And 4 is referrals and how to ask for them. And we can also talk about the sale yesterday and how that was for you, and how we can do it better next time, not from a place of inner critic, but from a place of one of the cards I posted this morning was, oh good, something to want, watch me attract it, or something like that. So that's how I like to approach things. Like, oh good, like when I go through some contrast and I go, oh interesting, this is something that I don't prefer, right? So instead of being like, wow, drama, blah, this is terrible, just not reacting and going, oh, interesting. Look, I created something I don't prefer because I created all. What do I want to create now instead? And then I get excited and I go, awesome. I want to create this, something to want, right? Because wouldn't life be so boring if we just didn't want anything? It'd be like, okay, here I am existing, right? So my chickens are screaming downstairs because they're so excited. They're playing a game together, and to hear that kind of screaming is so synchronistic because that is life, right? It's like wanting something, trying for it, not getting it, getting excited, and then trying again for something new. Does that make sense? Yeah.
What game are they playing? I just have to ask.
I don't know. I something I don't understand.
Okay.
I'll tell you later. Once I know what the name is. It's something, it's not a video game, but it's something, I don't know. So anyway, I'm actually not a game person at all. My handsome husband is. He loves games and I can't stand them. Isn't that funny? They're very boring to me. I get very antsy. But that's why we're great co-parents, because he likes games and I like outings. He's a homebody. I like to go out with them. So it's perfect. Okay, so back to Sarah Steele's question. So she said I'm forwarding all you guys who are interested a podcast that just came out with Mary Kate Grasikas. She's a 3-time author, kids yoga books. She taught for me at Prana Power Yoga for years, and she's a very good friend. She just released this podcast, and Sarah was just listening to it, and she was talking about the belief tree, which I was talking about. So Sarah, ask your question again and let's dig in.
Okay, so I got to the belief tree and I paused the podcast and started talking through myself out loud. There was no one nearby, so through something that I'm trying to process with the belief tree. And I got to the point of like saying, okay, I believe this, after asking myself, what must I believe to be true with the situation? And then I didn't know what to do next. So I was wondering if it's like just is the next step to rewrite the story to what you do want, or?
Right. Great question, Sarah. I love that you asked that. So can anybody guess? Well, Sarah, you just guessed and it was spot on, but can anybody kind of dig a little bit more? Like, what would that look like? What are we doing there when you, so Scott, the belief tree process is very simple. When you have a negative thought or a negative feeling, when you feel crappy for some reason, that's your inner critic. And Scott, I know you're brand new to law of attraction and you're very patient with us because you're just learning. So take what you want and leave the rest, as always. So when you have a crappy feeling, instead of a happy feeling, you ask yourself 2 questions. I feel this way because, whether it's like, well, Sarah, do you feel comfortable saying the feeling you had or no?
Yeah, it's, so oh, my phone is on low battery. Okay. So it was like a scenario, I guess. So you're saying what feeling do I have from that scenario?
So yeah, so you have a crappy feeling and it comes up, right? A feeling comes up. So you ask yourself, what must I believe to be true? So let's say the feeling is usually, honestly, it's one of three things, almost always with my clients. It's either I feel unworthy or less than, which is this I'm counting as one. And a second one is I feel stuck or I feel powerless. So was it any of those three?
Like all of them kind of together, I guess, in a way, if you think about it, because I feel powerless about changing the situation. I feel stuck because it's not changing. And then I feel the first one was unworthy or what did you say?
Like less than.
Less than. Yeah. I feel like it doesn't sound, I think it's more the less than. So all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're not alone because those are the three top things always. And sometimes it's all three and sometimes it's more of one, so you're so not alone. And I think that in and of itself, everybody is really helpful to know because sometimes we feel like we're the only one who feels this way, right? And that feels really bad. It feels lonely to be like, I'm the only one who feels this way. No, you're not. I've worked with thousands of people and you're not the only one. So you ask yourself, what must I believe to be true to feel unworthy or less than or stuck? Any of those things. Or I feel stuck because they both work. So and then you just see what pops up. And what's important is that it's not through your brain. You don't think about it. You don't weigh the pros and the cons. It's just the first thing that pops into your head, like without filter. Okay.
Well, so like, for example, I feel stuck. I mean, I just keep thinking of the scenario of like, because of what's happening with the situation. Is that kind of what you're going for, or?
You know what? There is no right or wrong. So, what happens, first of all, to answer your general question at the beginning, like what's the next step? The next step, so you ask yourself, then it pops up, and then you squash it. You squash that that false belief, okay? Because it's a false belief coming from your inner critic that was most likely embedded in you because you embody something, probably as a child. Okay, something happened, and that belief was there, and it just never got dislodged. So you just kind of carried it, and then it gathered truth or facts behind it. And because remember, what we embody is what we are, right? And we can choose what we embody. So what I'm teaching is to choose what you are embodying. However, you can't just gloss over an anchor like that that's holding you down. You have to clear it. And that's where in law of attraction, people are failing, they feel like, because they're like, I'm not manifesting the big stuff. And it's because they have a wobble. They're saying, I want this big thing, but, and then they get drawn down by the anchor. And the anchor is that belief that I'm unworthy or whatever. So the next step, once you identify it, Sarah Steele, is you then squash it. So you invalidate the false belief. Does that make sense?
Okay. So
I can see you're totally in your head. Just
I can't.
By the fact.
Well, I feel like I don't know how to squash these beliefs because I've carried them since the internship, and now it's coming up again for me. And it's around team building. So
Perfect. So here's the deal. The reason why you can't figure that out is because you're in you and like you're just immersed in it and it's like your whole thing, right? And that's very common. So because it's so I like to talk about two canvases, one in back and one in front of you, okay? And the canvas in back of you is the internship, and it's everything you've painted on it from the internship and your whole life. Your whole life is back there. And then the canvas in front of you is blank. And with every single focus, point, thought, and emotion right now, moving forward, you're painting right now. And every time you think back to the internship and you focus on it and you think about it and you have that same feeling, that paint comes forward onto your new canvas. And you just painted that. You chose that. And this is where most people live their whole life, in a reality loop. And they're caught in a loop and they feel stuck and they don't have someone like me explaining it, and they listen to The Secret, but it doesn't give enough information. So they're like, this doesn't work. And then they feel, powerless, and they feel like they failed at another thing. And then it's a loop. I failed, powerless, unworthy. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah.
nothing can change.
Mhm.
So first of all, most importantly, everybody, a very, very basic law of attraction, basic, is that you acknowledge that, oh, this circumstance in front of me is the result of my vibration. So that is, until you can acknowledge that, nothing will change ever. It can't, because it's the loop. If it's someone else's problem or someone else's doing, it can't change ever. It's law. It can't. So once a person has chosen that, and no one has to choose it, discomfort and displeasure is a choice. And people, there's free will. People can choose whatever they want, right? You can choose whatever you want. I can choose. Scott can choose. My children can choose. My chickens. Anyone can choose. So that's where people get really, really hung up when they're trying to change someone else's choice. No, you need to choose this. Okay, because that's never going to work. So anyway, back to your reality loop. So it's the internship behind you. You're having a feeling. You're going to tell us what the feeling is. And this is great because everyone relates to this. Well, I don't think Scott did the internship, but everyone else does. So the internship is, right, something gets triggered. And then it's like, but that's the truth. It's like, no, that is my canvas in the back. I'm not painting that here now. So let's squash it. What is it? What's the actual feeling?
Feeling, I'm trying to think of the best wording, is like feeling like, well, what's coming to mind is giving up, but it's not giving up. It's like feeling like sort of just, I'm not sure how to word it, but like feeling like, oh, there's just no hope. Like, it's just like, yeah. So it's, thinking how to word that better.
Defeated? You feel defeated?
Yeah, defeated. Yeah, defeated. And like, with regardless of various efforts and doing things differently or this or that, this much time has passed, and I feel like I had a period where I was very hopeful, and and so now I feel defeated, and it's not that I'm focusing on the past, it's just that it reminds me of that. This feeling now reminds me of that in the past. Like, I wasn't specifically actively thinking about the past, but then when I think about the feeling that's happening now in this scenario, then my brain goes to, oh yeah, just like in the past.
Right. So, and what that is, which can be the most challenging, is it's like background noise and we don't even know it's there. And that often comes from like stuff from when you're a child too, right? So most likely like stuff in the internship triggered stuff, something that happened when you were younger, et cetera, et cetera. But all that matters is that it's triggering the internship, okay? And So yeah, you're like, I'm not thinking about that, but it's there, right? And how we know it's there, which is a gift and a pot of gold, is our emotions. Okay. So our emotions are not something to run away from. They're not something to be afraid of. They're not, absolutely not something to ignore and slap a happy face sticker on. Oh no, I'm not feeling defeated. I feel today's the best day ever. No, that's not what we're doing here at all, right? Because those anchors that are holding your cork down, they need to be squashed and disproved. Okay, so we need to we need to see what they are, disprove them, and then tell a better feeling story. But you can't tell a better feeling story till you figure out what the anchor is, right? Release it, let it float up, and then feel relief. So right now you're in struggle, right? Struggle because you feel defeated, you feel like crap. And we want to get you to relief. That's our goal first, okay? We're not going to go from struggle to bliss, Sarah Steele. We're not going to go from struggle to bliss. We're not going to go from struggle to satisfaction. Our goal right now is struggle to relief. And this goes for everybody when you're working your business. If you're feeling in struggle, my daughter this morning, Madison, she's like, Mom, let's film a TikTok. And I was like, no, I won't do any output until I'm in alignment. And I hadn't finished my morning practice, right? Because I was up late because of the sale and yada, yada, yada. So I will not do that. I'm not going to be like, yeah, let's check it off the list and then put out some content that's crap because I'm out of alignment, right? So my point in that is that I don't want to start anything till I'm in alignment. And you right now are in struggle. Oh, my point in that was like, you don't want to be like, tonight, now's the time to do my reach out. So I'm going to sit down with Taylor on the Zoom and do my reach outs. Well, that's a good start. But if you sit down and you're feeling defeated, I would sit with us in the Zoom and write ease. I would write ease. I would take out my clipboard and I would write ease for 5 minutes, and then if you feel better, good. If not, I would sit there and just close my eyes and meditate for 5 minutes, till you just calm down. Okay. So your feelings are gold. So what they're telling us is, I have a perspective. Isn't this interesting? I have a perspective that I don't prefer. It's not like, oh my God, the world is over, because I feel like I can guess where you're going with this. Is it about Mexico?
Actually not. I've really let go of that. Well, in a way I feel defeated about that too. Like, oh, that would have been nice. But just in general, actually after that EM call with Melissa,
Yeah.
partly it was like kind of, I don't know, it's, I realize, I acknowledge, I understand that it's comparison is the thief of joy, but on the same note, we're always curious as humans. So for me to see everyone else's numbers and team numbers relieved my curiosity on that point. And I eventually had started feeling like, oh wow, okay, yeah, so I'm definitely way behind in the numbers there. And that's feels crappy to me.
Yeah.
And I feel defeated because I am I feel like I don't know how to do it differently to get the outcome that I'm wanting. And so it doesn't, I guess right now where I'm feeling it is it doesn't even feel like possible.
Yep. Perfect. Exactly. I'm smiling because this is gold. Okay. This is why it's gold. You can't get there from there. Your spirit knows you can't get there from there. Okay. I was up on stage with Abraham Hicks in front of, I don't even know, 1,000 people. I don't know how many. She picks 5 people in a day. And I think there were a lot of people there. And I said, how can I get on I spent 25 minutes asking one question because you know me. And I said, how can I get on Ellen from my book? And she said, you can't. In front of 1,000 people. You can't get there from there. You have to clear the path. Okay. And so when someone says that, it's like dropping the stuff. Well, infinite intelligence says that it's dropping the stomach in front of 1,000 people. But I know that when I just said that to you, it's like a part of you feels, well, I'll talk for myself. A part of me was like, what? Like, you can't say that to me up here in front of 1,000 people. But then a part of me is relieved because it's like a part of me knew it. Like, I got to clear the path. Like something is in the way here and I can't get there. Like I feel stuck, right? And you feel stuck. So I can totally relate. Now, you can't, because you're working your ass off. So this is my whole, not my whole message, but this is a huge part of my message. You cannot build an effortless life with effort. You cannot build an effortless life with effort. Okay? You have the power that creates worlds flowing through you. One person who is connected to that stream is more powerful than millions who are not. That is not through effort. You, Sarah Steele, are using effort, and you will work harder than anyone I know. You are the hardest worker that I know, besides myself. Okay, I know what you do. I know how you beat the shit out of yourself. I know. Okay, now, this is gold because your inner being's like, no can do. You can't work any harder than this, right? Like, I don't know what else to do, right? Is that what you're feeling? Like, what the hell? And you're looking at those numbers and you're like, you know, all these feelings, which are good. If the good feelings are good, let them come up. We'll get back to those feelings in a second because you weren't alone. Nobody liked that call, including me. I talked about it. You heard me, right? I was talking, Kimmy Z and Scott, you weren't on the call. It was a EM and above mandatory call, which I already had issues with. I was like, hello. No, I don't do mandatory calls. It was reminding me of the internship. I was like, you promised when I started there would be no mandatory calls. But the thing is, that was 1.5 years ago and we weren't there yet, right? The company. So we're going to get to that. Because Melissa, I adore Melissa Scott and she's doing what she needs to do, but it was a shitty call. It felt shitty. It wasn't a shitty call. It felt shitty for a lot of reasons. For her too. She was struggling. Okay. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, I admire her a lot because that was hard. That kind of thing is hard to do.
It's hard.
And she put a lot of effort into it.
A lot of, yeah, and we'll talk about that. But what I said on the call is, I don't believe in this. I said, because I understand that and I'm grateful that you are showing numbers because people need that kind of stuff. But this is not going to motivate people. This is going to make people feel like you feel right now. This doesn't work. Okay. This is inner critic. This is not inner being. Now, all right. So you can't get there from there because gosh, I'm doing everything. I'm working. I'm busting my ass. So something needs to change, right?
Well, it's funny because I have started, I would say maybe somewhat fallen into a pattern of putting a lot less effort in for a while. I'm not sure how long. It's sort of varying in terms of why I am putting less effort and all that. But
hold on. So just to be clear to everybody listening here and later, effort is not action. There's a difference. So I am not advocating that you sit on your ass all day doing nothing and expect your business to explode. All right. What I'm saying is effort paddling upstream does not work. It works for little tiny to a certain extent, and then it will stop. You will hit a ceiling, which she has hit. Okay. And she works hard and works a lot. So this is 100% alignment and vibration work. It is being vibrationally productive. Okay. Now that said, yesterday I was working that sale like crazy banana pants because I was excited. The day before I was not. I had a bunch of stuff with my chickens. It was literally impossible. I did like no reach outs the day before. So it was interesting because it was a 2-day sale. It's not usually a 2-day sale. And I didn't feel very comfortable that day, Thursday. I was like, I just really wanted to do reach outs, but it just wasn't possible. So I just did my vibrational work, which was I trusted the divine timing and I chose it. I said, I am choosing to, the biggest choice you make all day long. How am I choosing to feel? So I was choosing to feel excited and calm and ease, focused, right? And I was choosing to trust that the timing would come. So yesterday I was full of action and I was focused on the sale. Okay. So Sarah, a big difference between, there are 3 times when action isn't happening. One is you're saying, you're just busy with your chickens or busy with whatever, abundant, busy, whatever. And it just can't happen. So that's fine. That's life, right? We all have busy lives. I'm adopting the busy word because nobody gets abundant. So whatever, it's fine. So we all have abundant, busy lives. So the key there is to not get sucked into feeling bad about it and guilty about it. Okay. So that is inner critic. So when you're feeling bad about it, like I should be working this sale or I should be working my business and you're not, that means when you sit down to do it, you're screwed because your energy sucks. It's just more surrendering to, okay, I'm with my chickens now, or I'm doing this now, or I'm doing that now, and I'm going to be fully present in this moment. And I'm going to trust divine timing. The second reason you're not doing the action is because you're out of alignment and you've chosen not to. And I support that. Okay. Because you could do action all day long for the sale and you're out of alignment and you're not going to get any orders. I'm telling you right now, you will not. And then you'll feel like a loser and you'll feel like a failure. So don't do it. The third place of alignment, which is what I recommend, place of action, is you're on fire. Wild horses can't keep you from doing it. The waters part, your husband takes the kids or they have an activity or the school or whatever, they're at school. I wish, but, and everything lines up and you're like, boom, boom, boom. And then you're getting orders left and right. Do you see the difference in those actions?
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday and Thursday I felt in alignment and for the most part, and I was getting orders. I felt good about the sale and all that.
Wait a sec,
and
Sarah,
yeah.
I misspoke because you will most likely get the sales then, but they might not come then because that might be divine timing as well. So it's about being unattached to outcome. It's about feeling happy doing it
The action.
and then trusting. Yeah. So I actually love this business. Like it's my dream job. So when I'm reaching out, I reach out anyway to people. I've done this my whole life. And now there's like a reason for it. Like, hey, would you like wine or, whatever. So being attached to, I'm going to do whatever, like whatever you have in your mind about sales that day is a setup to feel like crap again. And these are setups from the internship and from life. So what you want to do is you want to get really solid in your alignment first, and then following excitement. Okay, I feel excited to do this. And then being unattached to outcome. So if you're in alignment and you're excited, only good things are going to happen. It might not be a bunch of sales that day. Okay, it might not. It might, and it might not. It might be that person who you wrote to, is in the middle of COVID or something, and they write you a week later and they buy 2 cases.
Yeah, that's a good point that you just made. That's a nuance for me that means a lot because like I agree with and think about what you're saying, but the part where you said about when sometimes I do things and I really truly feel in high vibe and in alignment, and then if there isn't a result from it, then I feel defeated again. So to remember that it might not be right then. So I'm in high vibe, it's working. I just don't see the evidence yet.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So hold on. So we're just gonna squash some of these things. And then hopefully when the feeling comes up again, you'll hear my voice. And my voice can stand in for your inner being going like this. It's okay. You're in excitement and so first of all, your inner critic will be like, you suck, you didn't get the order. And then what would my inner being say instead? Right? So that's what you want to ask yourself. I have that written twice. What would my inner being say instead? Your inner being would say, that's okay. You're doing the best you can. You're in alignment. You're excited. And so this is all about timing. And I remember Taylor told a story of when she, lost a house, for example, in Barrington. Remember, Sarah? And I wanted that house so badly, and I cried and for 30 minutes, and then I let it go. And then we got the Happy White Pineapple, and like that house, when we drive by it now, we're like, oh my God, thank God we didn't get that house, right? So sometimes we think we want something in the now, and our inner being knows so much better. Like, no, this person is not saying yes now, because in 2 weeks, they're going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, this was going on. And by the way, I want to join your team. Or by the way, I want 2 cases, not just a half case or whatever. It is working out in your favor always. If you're allowing it. If you're not allowing it, it can't get in. It's trying to get in and it can't. It's getting blocked. And you're not allowing it by feeling crappy.
Yeah. And so that's another question that I have a lot, is when you or anyone talks about this, like, okay, you're not allowing it. How do you know you're not allowing it? You kind of maybe just answered it, is when you're not feeling good.
Yes, easy peasy. This is how you know that you're not in allowing mode. You feel bad. You feel crappy. And so in that moment, people say, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm thinking about this thing that sucks. So what I recommend is get off the topic and go pet your cat, right? Focus on something else. That got Scott's attention. Focus on something else. And what happens is your inner critic will be like, you're lazy. You need to focus on that thing that sucks. And then go, wait a minute, what would my inner being say? And your inner being would say, it's okay. Just leave that alone. I don't have to think about that right now. I'm going to take care of that for you. You go pet the cat. So here's a really, really important point. Whatever you're working on, either you can work on it, your like mental body, or your inner being, your Sarah 6.0. You can't both do it at the same time. Inner critic and inner being cannot work at the same time. Inner being will not go where inner critic is ever. So when you feel crappy, you have separated yourself from inner being, from your 6.0. So you can't get there from there. And that's when you feel empty, and that's when you feel like a failure, and that's when you feel like you're in the internship. I mean, basically the internship, as far as I'm concerned, was one big inner critic bonanza for 4 years for me.
Wait, I blocked myself because I'm cooking and I don't want to be distracting, but I have to chime in because you have to know Sarah Steele and Taylor Swift that I just burst out laughing so that I'm laughing with you guys. I just have to say.
Please stay on camera, because it actually is very soothing to see you cooking. And she's the best cook. She brought me the most delicious.
Okay, as long as I'm not being distracting.
No, you're not. I will tell you if you're distracting, because I get distracted, but you're not.
Taylor, remember I told you I made good chickens.
You did. And what is coming up on my screen? Sorry, my screen is popping up. That's so funny. What is synchronicity? So you're like, I don't want to be distracting. And then some bizarre thing just popped up about like, do you want to do these updates? It's like, obviously I don't. I'm on a Zoom call. Anyway, so I do feel that our internship taught us so much. And it's a beautiful point of fertilizer for us to grow. Okay. And so in any moment, how do I know what my vibration is that I'm putting out? Two things. Kimmy Z, you know them.
Do I see
So
me or Sarah?
vibration. Sarah, you guess.
Well, how do I know what I'm putting out is, well, the feedback I'm getting back and how I feel, like happy or crappy, maybe.
That's exactly it. So it's what's unfolding in front of you and how I feel, okay? Now, it's very important. I already said it. I'm going to say it again. It bears repeating that either your inner critic or your inner being can be on the case, not both at the same time. That's why I encourage you guys to make an inbox for your inner being and write down in the present tense what you want and give it to your inner being, and then focus on what feels good moment to moment. And it's just practice. You're learning how to focus and how to trust that, wow, it feels okay. It's okay to focus on what feels good. And in fact, it's the best thing. So if you are, for example, thinking about something like, that's bringing you down, the best thing to do once you've written it on that piece of paper is focus on something that feels good. Get off the topic or get into the present moment, right? And so most people, when they're looking at something that's lack, they feel bad. And then that just starts, they're painting on the canvas, lack, right? And Sarah Steele, I love your example because you are such a hard worker and such an efforter and your numbers, your sales numbers, your personal sales are very high. That is a beautiful example for people because she works so hard, people who are listening, and she's realized it's a gift from her inner being. I don't know what else I can do here, dude. Like, what else? And that's when most people quit, not in the business, just in life. And that's the saddest, when they quit, when they go, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what else to do. And that's when you give it up to your inner being and you follow the excitement. And then it's not no action, people. Like you guys know I'm a high action person. I love action, massive action. So I'm not saying, oh, well, Taylor said just sit on my ass and do nothing. That's not what I'm saying. Taylor told me just to not go to my 9-to-5 job and everything will be okay. That's not what I'm saying.
This is the best job. This is the best company ever. You just get to sit around
on your ass and wine.
Team will grow.
Exactly. All right. So I think we have like 10 minutes. We have 12 minutes left. Awesome. So we're not really going according to this agenda, which is so awesome. Well, we're doing law of attraction basics, how to apply it to the wine business. We're doing that. What are we doing day to day? Referrals. Okay. So Sarah Steele, I just want to make sure we solidly answered your question, which is, all right, so it pops up. What is the thing that pops up? I feel unworthy, or I feel like I'm a loser because I can't do this. What's coming up?
Yeah, that's basically it. Is I feel like hold on, Sophia. Okay, Sophia, hold on a second.
Throw your toys in the trash can.
I just got home. I had to come home because my phone is literally about to die, and I didn't want to have it die in the middle of this. So, because I was technically off duty for a little while. So yeah, I feel like crap. I feel like a loser. I feel like, wow, that's just never going to be me, I guess. And then I feel like, oh, okay. So once again, I guess that's reinforcement that I suck and I'm not really amounting to all the things I want to amount to.
Okay, stop.
And
I get it. That's enough. Perfect. Okay, thank you. I asked. Okay, here's the deal. Now is when Seth's inner critic, your inner critic is very articulate and has a lot to say. Now, inner being, what would your inner being say instead? How about, wait a minute. Wait, how many years ago did you start internship? 4 years ago?
roughly, yeah.
4. So 4 years ago, had I done all this amazing personal development work on myself with others, with my coach, and with Taylor Swift, and with Best Team Ever? Am I the same person I was 4 years ago?
Definitely not.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not the same person. So that's a different canvas. Am I allowed to paint something brand new today on my canvas? Am I a brand new person? Look what's right on top. Am I a brand new person with a brand new vibration? Yep, you are. Okay.
Yeah.
And with every perception shift, do I become a brand new person with a brand new experience, with a brand new vibration? With every perception shift, you become a brand new person. So if you feel that like, oh, well, I guess I suck and everything's like the internship, that's an old perception. That's why it feels heavy, right? It's like, wait a minute, that's bullshit. That's garbage. My inner being is full of bullshit and garbage. I mean, my inner critic, my inner being is saying, that's okay. I did the best I could. When I was at the internship, it's a great product and people seem to be doing well, and I didn't know any better, and I know better now. That's okay. The only way I could know is to try it. And, a lot of people just wouldn't try it. And wow, I'm really proud of myself that I tried it, and I'm a hard worker, and Taylor Swift is teaching me how to not effort. But man, I can work harder than anybody. Will Smith says he'll work harder than anybody. And I'm just like Will Smith. And, it's going pretty well. It's going really well. And I always figure stuff out. And it feels good getting on these calls. And it feels good being with Best Team Ever. And yeah, sometimes the old feelings come in when I'm off by myself and I get a little sloppy with my thinking. But this feels good. And the internship never felt like this when I went on the call. So there's a big difference. That's a shift. This is different. And you know what? This is wine. This is wine. You know what? The consultants in this company have doubled in a year and a half, from 8,000 to 17,000, more than doubled. That wasn't happening with the internship. The internship is losing them and gaining them around the same time, about the same level, or losing more. Okay. So they're very, very basic business things that Taylor's husband points out all the time, right? And for example, like my paycheck for the wine, well, I want a certain paycheck, but if I look at my paycheck 1 month, of course it's going to fluctuate. And let me look at it a year ago. And is it higher now? Is it getting higher? I got to look at those numbers, and I got to look at the fact that I'm learning and growing every day. And this business is only going to get better and easier for me as I effort less and I suffer less. So I'm doing really well. I'm figuring this out. Now, are you feeling a bit?
I'm still on my call. 5 more minutes.
Are you feeling a bit of relief?
Yeah, for sure. Relief and just, I mean, part of me is like, oh, well, sort of some resignation, feeling resigned, like, oh, well, I won't be going on the Mexico trip, and I don't have a huge team, but
Now, hold on. First of all, resignation is seen by some as negative. I have a different word for that from your inner being. It's called surrender. It's called surrendering. Surrendering instead of giving in to your critic and your ego and saying, I have to bulldoze through this, and I have to shove my
God, it's so nice of you.
and that's not how it works. Okay? It doesn't work that way. And guess what? Mexico is the first of
Where
many.
did I go?
And by the way,
Yeah.
I went to North Kingstown.
I have not made Mexico either. And I'm not saying that to say like a pity party or whatever, but it's challenging. It's hard to make Mexico. There's 47 people out of 17,000. And I'm going for it, but we'll see. You know, what I'm saying with Mexico is chasing me. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's chasing me. And I just follow excitement, highest excitement. I don't go to critic for Mexico because that would be a shit show. I'm just like, it's chasing me. It's chasing me. So there are always going to be more trips. There are always going to be more levels, right? And so what's imperative is that you find in the now, not only peace, but excitement, like moving from struggle to relief, right? To, at the beginning, let's say struggle, you were at a 10. Where are you now from struggle? Or are you lower on the struggle?
Yeah, for sure. Like and actually for you to say surrender versus resignation, again, like you just pointed out a few minutes ago, the perspective shift is everything. So, because when I thought of it as resignation, I also feel, well, it just feels negative, and I also feel bad about it. Like, oh, I shouldn't even be letting myself go there. But looking at it as surrender, it feels totally different. It feels like a relief. It feels like freeing. So that's really awesome.
I can see it in your whole face. And here's the difference. Resignation is critic saying you suck. Surrender is your inner being saying, awesome, this is where you need to abide and actually to feel good. And then ironically, that's when the big shit happens, right? So I met my handsome husband when I was completely not looking for anyone. I was heartbroken from divorce, and I wanted to be a happy single mom. So that's when it happened, because I wasn't looking for it. Okay. So that is because I wasn't in lack. Like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? When you're in lack, the universe can only bring you more lack. So right now you're getting a gift from your inner being, which is, just let go and surrender and just go for the fun stuff. And your inner critic is like, oh, whatever it's saying, just ignore it. It's garbage. And then what your biggest challenge is going to be just allowing the good feelings and just letting the good stuff come in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So
Like, Sarah,
I appreciate
your face, your whole face is different. Like your whole aura right now is different than I've ever seen it ever. So feel this feeling and imprint it. Okay, embody it. So remember, hold on, I wrote something. I'll send you guys this. This is exactly what you're doing right now. Hold on. Couple things. Ready? Evidence in your physical reality is evidence of nothing other than the vibration you've been practicing. That's number one. Okay, so when you see evidence, it's just your vibration. Okay, and to begin understanding the law of attraction, begin noticing the correlation between how you felt about that person or that situation or that experience and how those things unfolded. And then this is what I wanted to tell you. You are the creator. So creation starts from within you. All of your physical reality originates from your very own emotions and perceptions. So what you embody, so your face right now, you become. What you embody, you experience. And what you embody is up to you. So right now, you feel this right now. Hold it as long as you can. Stay in that energy and imprint it, and then embody it. If you can, meditate right now and just let it go through your whole body, because, and that's all that's your work. And then when you're there, follow excitement. Like, what do I feel like doing right now? And it might not be work at all. It might be like, I feel like going and getting a burger, or I feel like going for a bike ride, or I feel like taking a nap. Whatever it is, just do it. That's honestly,
Awesome.
it's
Yeah, I really
go ahead.
appreciate. Yeah, I just really appreciate you going through the nuances of it. That's really, really helpful.
I mean, I'm just staring at your face because it's so different from the beginning of the call. But anyway, we're gonna stop. And Sarah, thank you for helping us with your specific example. Everybody can relate on all levels.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. We can all relate.
Yeah, really, really good, really good. And I'm proud of you all by who you are and not what you do. I tell my chickens that and you that every day, and I mean it. You know I mean it. Hi, John. All right, I'm gonna stop.
Can't hear you. Taylor just said,
It's all right.
okay.